Before I get started with this video, I just want to go ahead and put this disclaimer out there that this is not an excuse to relapse. Don't watch this video and then relapse and say, oh, Jordan, it's your fault that I decided to relapse. No, okay, it's your decision. I'm speaking to the people who have already relapsed and are feeling down about themselves. Okay, I am not trying to encourage anybody to relapse on NoFap. Have I done that in the past? Maybe, you could argue that. But now I'm back on NoFap and I'm just trying to speak my truth based on my experiences. Now, with that being said, relapse has been one of the best things that ever happened to me. Imagine a rubber band. Okay, imagine if you're pulling back a rubber band so that you can let it go. The further back you pull it, the further it's going to fly when you let go of it. And the same principle applies with self-development. Okay, when you are on your NoFap journey and you hit rock bottom after that relapse, whether it's your first relapse, your 50th relapse, it doesn't matter. When you hit rock bottom after that relapse, at a certain point, the only direction for you to go is up. You can only improve from where you are because you've hit rock bottom. It can't really get any worse than where you are. So now you can focus on making those incremental improvements. Any little improvement that you make one day on NoFap is an improvement over where you were the day before. And if you learn to have that mindset and be in the moment and embrace the journey day by day, step by step, while also not focusing on the days and focusing more on the improvement, the incremental improvement, that's when you'll start to see the real benefits of NoFap. Your self-development journey is not meant to be perfect. It's not meant to be linear. Okay, you're not just going to progress over time like this. You're going to have ups and you're going to have downs and you're going to have ups and downs and ups and downs. But what you'll notice is that over time, your new lows are going to become your old highs. Okay, your new lows are going to be where your old highs once were. That's how you know that you are improving. Not from not having lows anymore. Okay, we are all human. We are all going to have those lows. It happens. That's life. And they should be embraced because adversity builds character. Adversity is how you grow. It's how you expand. That's how you become the person that you need to become to get the things that you want out of life. If you were to start NoFap and never relapse, ever, for the whole journey, what type of character development would you really build? How much better would you become from doing that? Without failing one time, what's going to happen? At a certain point, you are going to plateau. You're going to stop getting better because you didn't have to go through the struggles and the adversities. Imagine somebody who's relapsed 50 times on NoFap and they finally get to that 90-day mark. Think about what that's going to do for them mentally. Think about how much they're going to improve in their life and in their mindset and self-perception as compared to somebody who has never relapsed before. And this is something that I realized myself. I realized that I had become so complacent with my journey and understanding that I was not going to relapse that I stopped growing. I stopped developing my character, and that really bothered me for the longest time because I couldn't figure out why that was happening. I couldn't figure out why I was having trouble growing as a person. The reason why I was having trouble is because I was no longer faced with adversity. Everything was going so well in my life, and to be honest, it still is, and I'm very grateful for that. But at the same time, what I've realized is that adversity is what got me that far. Failure is what got me that far. Trying different things out and seeing my videos flop, putting in a lot of effort towards something and not seeing the results that I want to get. That forces you to go back to the drawing board and, most importantly, look within and figure out what changes you need to make from within about the way that you perceive yourself and the way that you perceive life. If you disagree with what I'm saying, I challenge you to find me 5 successful people that never failed in their life. You cannot do it. I promise you, you can't do it. The reason why that is because failure forces you to expand. Okay, expansion is growth. Expansion is how you accommodate all of the things that you want out of life. In order to expand your perspective and expand your outer world, you have to expand your inner world. You have to grow, and growing comes from adversity. It comes from struggle and suffering. Now, I'm not saying that you should subject yourself to a life full of suffering, but what you have to understand is that if you become so complacent and you stop failing in life, you're going to stop growing. And at a certain point, you're going to plateau. And you're not going to be able to get the things that you want out of life. You're going to be stuck where you are. And not only that, but relapsing on NoFap and just failing in general on your self-development journey, it forces you to learn how to forgive yourself. Self-forgiveness is one of the most important things that you will ever learn in this lifetime. And the reason why that is because in life, people are not always going to forgive you. That's why you have to learn how to forgive yourself. If you inherit other people's perceptions of you onto yourself, you'll never know who you truly are, because you'll only know who you are relative to everyone else. Your perspective of yourself should come from within. That's where your confidence and love should come from. It should come from inside of yourself. But the only way to achieve those feelings is through self-forgiveness. You have to learn to embrace all of your mistakes, all of your imperfections, because your imperfections are what make you perfect. They're what make you unique. If you were perfect, you literally would not exist. Because as humans, in this physical realm, we are a bunch of imperfections. That's literally what life is. Life is a culmination of imperfections, and that's what makes life perfect. That's what makes life balanced. All of our imperfections balance each other out, and that's why life is the way that it is. That's why we're able to exist and grow. And don't get me wrong, this is something that I still struggle with to this day, especially more recently after relapsing on NoFap, and I've made that abundantly clear through multiple videos. A lot of my confidence dissipated once I relapsed on NoFap because I hadn't fully learned how to forgive myself for my mistakes. I expected nothing less than perfection for myself. But what I've realized is that perfection is a mirage. It's an illusion. It's always within your line of sight, but it's never within reach. You'll never be perfect, and you shouldn't try to be perfect. You should try to improve. Okay, improvement is the key. Improvement is where happiness is found. The chase for imperfection never ends. The chase for improvement happens every single day, and it is fulfilled on a day-to-day basis. Because if you focus on becoming better every day, you're making definite progress. When you're chasing perfection, what ends up happening is you take 5 steps forward and 500 steps back, because every time you fail, your self-perception goes down the drain, and now you don't know who you are anymore. And that's something that's been happening to me recently. Another reason why relapsing on NoFap can be good is because of post-nut clarity. Now, I'm sure a lot of you know exactly what I'm talking about. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, after you release, you stop thinking in terms of lust. Okay, the lust leaves your mind and you're left with nothing but your thoughts. And the level of mental clarity that you have after relapsing is usually the source of that guilt that you might feel after relapsing. It's because you suddenly realize what you just did. You realize that you betrayed your discipline. And this is where a lot of people mess up at. If it wasn't for post-nut clarity, I would not have made these connections. If it wasn't for relapsing, I wouldn't have had post-nut clarity to have made these connections and to have grown in character. Me falling back into my old ways taught me a lot more about myself, especially since I had the broader perspective that came from my journey to that point. I could see the bigger picture because I understood what it meant to fail, and I understood why failure felt so bad to me. I understood why I was having trouble forgiving myself. These are connections that I did not make in the past because I hadn't gone through enough adversity to have made them. But now I can because I relapsed. And like I said, I'm not saying that you should relapse. This video is no excuse for you to go and relapse. But this is a way for you to shift and expand your perspective on NoFap and on releasing and on failure in general. Not even just with NoFap, but if you cheat on your diet or you skip workout sessions or you mess up in whatever way possible, that failure can be the reason why you end up succeeding in the end.